And a one fish, two fish. And a one fish, two fish. And I hear myself in the speakers. So let's put that on the headphones. And a one fish, two fish. And I hear myself in the speakers. So let's put that on the headphones. And a one fish, two fish. And I hear myself in the speakers. So let's put that on the headphones. All right, I think that's okay. Turn the heater off. All right, I think that's okay. Turn the heater off. All right, let's check the YouTube. And hello, Art. How's it going, buddy? YouTube. And hello, Art. How's it going, buddy? All right, YouTube's fine. Twitch is fine. We're ready to go. I'm working on the Whimsy outfit, which is a sweater with skirt and UGG-like fuzzy boots. So today I think I'm going to work on the boots a bit. I've been working on this. I screwed up the UV, so I'm rebuilding the dress. Hopefully I don't have to rebuild the sweater. I'm struggling with Marvelous Designer. Half the times I export wrong because it doesn't remember my settings, which is annoying. Out of the blue, Marvelous Designer decided to stop remembering what my settings were. Damn coveralls is nice. Did you grab a copy? And thank you. I'm going to do a little import check here. We're going to have a fuzzy sweater, by the way. But where's my import? Are you my import? You're my import. Let me put you over here. Let's grab that. You are 1 kilobyte. Damn you. What the fuck, Marvelous Designer? Oh. I swear this frickin' program. Let's try this. File export. OBJ selected. Skirt. Yeah, we're going to replace that shit. All right, we're going to do thin and welded. Those are the things that keep throwing me off. That's what's supposed to stay selected, so of course it doesn't. That's better. That's better. I see a skirt now. Now we have an object size. All right, let's bring that in. I think this is good. I have to re-update that sweater though, because it's clipping this just a little bit. So let's try to see if I can update the note in the scene. I've got the right thing selected. Whimsy sweater. Let's do that. Let me see if I can just update that. I'm going to hide the fur. Hopefully 10,000. That works. That's but no, it's still not. It's still not. I gotta re-export it again. Are you actually lined up right back there? You are. Okay, let's try this again. File, export, OBJ selected. Overwrite sweater. Yes, please. I have to remember to click thin weld. I almost did it, messed it up again. All right, let's update this. Let's see if it works this time. Nope. Do I have a D-Force on? Oh, I had D-Force on. There's my problem. I probably didn't need to update that at all. Anyhow, I think we're going to play with the boots. So let's hit save on this. Let's do file new. Let's come over to, so in Blender, I've got a basic sole, so we're going to save that out. Get it over in the Marvelous Designer and make the rest of the boot. So let's do that. I'm going to lower you down one. Yeah, we'll do that. File, export. We'll just do that. We'll come over to here. Whimsy. So selection only. Export that. Pop back over to here. Let's load in our avatar. Let's import in OPJ to garment. We'll get that sole in here. Actually, I don't know if this will work. That didn't work. We're going to have to do it again. I forgot to give, I need the UV map that. That's what it is. I forgot to UV map it. There we go. That's better. I think I'm going to apply one level of subdivision though. That's better. All right, we're going to export that out. And this should come in better now because it's got UV mapping. Import add OBJ to garment. So I think I just say okay to that? I'm going to try that. Nope, we're going to try this again. File import add OBJ to garment. I wish it would come in with the UVs and use that as the pattern, but I'm asking too much, I know. Trace 2D pattern from UVs. There we go. That's what I needed it to do. And I think we're just going to flip the normals. Am I on the wrong thing? Because I don't see something that says flip. No, I guess I'd have to come over here. Flip normal. I think that's all I need to do. I can't tell. Let's freeze that. All right, let's start working on putting our boot in here. I'm going to add a point from here to here. At least I think that's going to be fine. I should actually, we're going to undo those. I want to do this a little more scientifically. I'm going to actually, so I want to put a point right there. Did I not just click on you? You might fall asleep soon as you have to wake up 4-ish. Ooh, okay. Yeah, Charles isn't making it tonight either. So that's all right. Let's put a matching point over there. Okie dokie. Maybe I'll convert you to a curve point, and then maybe we convert you guys to curve points. And then maybe I'm going to put a split, and I'm going to see a uniform split. I like that, and that way these are even. And then we're going to just maybe do the same thing over here. Let's see how this goes. Can I convert all you? And then can we put a uniform split on you? So that we got a point right in the middle. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to start blocking out these ugly shoes. So I need a yo, SROM, how are you doing, buddy? I'm just going to sketch this out and then unfold it. So we're going to have kind of a shape like this, and it's going to come around like this, and kind of over here, and then back around like that. Oops. Kind of like this, and then you come around like so, and you're going to come up here, and then you're going to just work your way back to here. Only I probably need these up a lot closer like that. Convert you to a curve point. I'm finally having a day off from physical labor to lick your wounds. Oh, that's nice. Getting a day off is good. And it's good to see you. My mod's not here. I gotta shout out some people. There we go. And I think I got an SROM command. There we go. I do have an SROM command. Oh, reminds me, I need to get cool music for the SROM command, don't I? Some point in the future. All right, let's change the length of this to be equal to the length of that. 226.1. Change length. 226.1. You know, I eyeballed that pretty close, didn't I? Then I can I just, how does this work? Unfold symmetrical editing with unfold. Can we just do that? How is Chris in chat today? I'm doing well, thank you. We're going to tweak this a little bit more. I'm not happy with that. We're going to back this up a little like that. I want that angle to be a bit more like that. That's better. Let's try this now. Also 226.1. Oh, it still says, was that the magic number though? I already can't remember. That is the magic number, so we're going to leave that alone. Hey, anytime. Granted, Art's here. I think Art's the only one. And you. Go follow yourself, dude. Unfold. Let's try that. And then let's maybe sew this to this and that to that. And I'm going to line this up. And we'll see how that goes. I'm going to reshape this a little bit when we get it over. These need to be out over here more. And that needs to be shallower. So I think we can just kind of maybe just take that kind of like that. And maybe just convert that to a curve. Convert to curve point. Get rid of these. I'm getting there. So maybe this just needs to be a little shallower still. That might do. Rex said thanks and good night for popping on the stream. Okay. We're gonna put a heel cap on here. I'm gonna just kind of sketch that out and then size that up so that it matches 63.6. So I'm just gonna rough that out with a polygon. So I'm gonna need a little part like that. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come up. And we're gonna come through here. I'm going to curve that like so, and then this is going to get maybe a curve like that and a curve like that. This is too long, which means I'm going to then adjust that. The magic number was 62.3. 62.3. I'm going to say okay on that. You know what? I'm just going to put you into place. We'll unfold that. Unfold. There we go. And then I just need to sew this in like that. I think that's going to do. And then I just got to sew this into here. And then we're going to add the pieces that go in behind this. And we're going to have the boots come up to about here. And then I'm going to have a zone in here that's going to be fuzzy. That's the tentative plan right now. So I think you can sew into here. And then you're going to get sewn over into here. So, wait, did I not sew? I sewed you in backwards or something. You're in the right spot. You should be in the. Oh, I see you. I've got you upside down. That's has to sew from there to there and then from here to here. There we go. That's better. We're going to make it more ugly in Blender. Don't worry. Okay, so now I'm going to need a piece. It's just going to go straight. And then I need another piece that's going to go straight up here and here. I think I'll try to get this one in first. I'm thinking. What are you? You are 139.6. So if I say 120, and we'll start with 250 on that. And then I'm just going to split that, convert to a curve point, come over here. Actually, I already forgot what my measurement was, 139.6. So did I not convert you to a curve point? And then I can take this and 139.6. Okay, I can probably get away with making this wider. and 148, so I made that too wide. 137. I'm getting there. I want to flatten that curve out a little bit too. So my numbers vanished out of my brain. 1396. Okay. One three nine six. There we go. Yo, Fallen Learns, how are you doing? I'm making ugly boots. Let's sew you to you. I should put all of this stuff over here instead of having it up here on the other side. Let's see how this goes. Oops, I had everything selected. Doy. You know, let's turn gravity off. That's a start. Now I just kind of need to fill in a square piece back in here. I might need to pull this out further so I can get a little more depth in there, I think. Anywho, so basically I need a line that's going to be this plus this, right? That's 41.6, 74.7, 74.7 minus 41.6, which means I need here, I'm gonna try this. I need to extend this out by 33.1, so we'll do that as a we'll do it as a extend pattern outline. I'll create an internal line just in case, and we'll say, what did I say, 33.1? Say okay to that. I'm going to turn this around. Put you back here. I'm going to sew that to that and that to that. And then I'm going to sew this into here. And this into here. So I need to figure out a way to get a little bit more room. We're too tight. And I think it's going to come from here. So I think what I'm going to do is pull this point out to here. Then we can adjust this and that'll give me more room in there. And now I have to also fix this to accommodate that. So somehow I have to get this sewn into there. So we'll take a couple measurements here. I probably 120, 130. Yeah, I'm just too wide in here. I need to make you narrower. I should probably make you an even number too. We'll do that. We'll just change length. And I'm going to say 100 maybe. And then we'll just kind of do the same thing here, except we got to go the other direction. I said 100. And we'll do the same thing on this. I can't tell which way it's going. I think that's good. Drag you to there. Now I really need a lot of more extra room in there, don't I? And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of trace this shape into here. So let's put a split line. So you need, actually, let's put a split line right here. Or actually, I should just, we'll put a split right there. Split, uniform split. Okie dokie. You know what? I'm going to try something a little more clever. Split. We're going to do a uniform split, but I'm going to say 4. So it gives me these extra points. Then can I convert you all to curve points all at once? And then I have these cool little curve points. And the idea is to get these to be equal to that. And that is 130.4. So we'll start off by kind of running that up. Of course, that's not doing anything. Why would it? I should probably make this a little wider now I'm looking at it. So, I don't know. If I do this and this, it's probably going to be too much. I wish I could just nudge by 5. You're not too bad, actually. Of course, now my points aren't lined up anymore. Why are you not lined up anymore? I do one like that. I do one like that. Now they're still lined up. It's good. It's all good. 137. I've added a point, but it's not moving. Because why should it move? I'm just talking crazy shit now, aren't I? Oh, 140. 130. I'm 10 off. You know what? We'll do this. $130.4. Let's change the length on this. I'm also going to try to match the shape. So if I line that up there, I can't tell. Let's try. Almost there. I need translucency though, because I can't see what I'm doing. That sort of works. And we'll say both so they come in. We'll do that. And then I'm just going to adjust these points to line up with that. You know what? This internal line is getting in the way. You I don't need anymore. You I don't need anymore. And then we can just kind of drag that till it snaps in place there. Drag that to there. And now I'm going to see if I could get you sewn into here. It's not looking promising. Yeah, I think I need to narrow this up and make that a little sharper. Also, I might need to adjust these. 30. You got a little long. You're still good. My sewing's a little funny in here somehow. Is that off? That looks good. That looks good. And yet I've got some weird... Oh, dang it, there's my problem right there. Doy. That's much better. Okay, and now I just need the extra room in here. So we're going to deepen this and then make this thicker to accommodate that. So if I pull that out there, we'll take a measurement on that. 63.5. So I can maybe pull that out. Double check that. Yeah, I still need... We're getting there. But I'm not quite there yet. You know what? I pull this out. I want to make sure that that says 74. But maybe if we just pull that out wider, and I should have measured that better. 74.7. And you're not symmetrical, so you know what? I'm going to chop this in half. It dragged a little weird. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to re-unfold it so I can get symmetry in there. So I am going to do unfold symmetrical editing with sewing like that. And then I just have to resew that. And I gotta resew everything here, don't I? That goes there. This is here. And then that is there. And I'm still playing with that. But now when I adjust this, 74.7, bring that out like that. Hey, thanks for being here, Art. Take care, man. Oh no, all the stupid little teeny points that I don't need. We really only need like maybe a couple. Is that better? Okay, now I'm going to adjust that to fit a little bit better. 99.1. That comes out to, I want to say, 198.2. Actually, let's 198.2. I should have done that so it spreads out both ways. To change length. Actually, would it make sense to bring that up a little bit higher, maybe? It might. And then I can change the length on that. 198.2, and we'll say both so it goes evenly both directions. Say okay to that. And then, I don't know, try sewing that to that. This to this. We'll adjust that a little bit better. I still need to widen out on the we're getting there. So I want this up almost to the knee, so let's run that up that way. Kind of like up there. And now it's clamped a little tight, so I think looks like it probably either, or we can just do this, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, and ideally 1, 2, and 1, 2. See if that. I'm getting there. It's still tighter than I want it. So do I just want to, I like that, so I don't really want to add much more back here. I mean, maybe I just make this a little longer and this a little shorter. And maybe we just pull this out a little bit further. And in Blender, I'm going to give it a bigger toe, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to adjust this sewing just a little bit. We just tweak that. And I'm not sure how that's going to impact my sewing here. You know what? That seems to be about right. So I'm still too tight around in here. And granted, Uggs tend to just only go through here. But I want mine to go up, so maybe I just need to maybe curve the top more and just give myself more room in here. And I did not move you over much, did I? So maybe we just add a little bit more in here. I don't know. Are those the same? 3.8, 3.7, 3.8, 3.6. That's pretty freaking close. This is a little better. I'm liking that. Those are appropriately ugly now. Maybe I'll curve it a little and we can take a little bit out of the ankle. And keep... Yeah, I think I'm going to do that just a little bit because I got just what looks like just a little too much right in here. So to that end, I'm going to put a cut across here and a cut across here and turn those to curve points, and then I'm going to take curve points and bring these in just a little bit. So I think here we'll put these in as internal lines. Offset internal line. I don't know. Let's say where's 100 get me? That's about right. Do that. Extend and add point to pattern outline. Excellent. We're going to get rid of those. I'm going to just swoop in here, convert you guys to curve points. Now we can come in here, and I can kind of bring these back in a little bit. Take a little bit of that excess out of the, and make it look like it's straighter. That's probably going to be good. I'm going to set up another material zone right through here so that we can add fur to it later on. And I'm going to put a cuff at the top. So let's start chopping this up into subsectors or something. I'm going to work on making sure these lines are all nice and even. So I'm just going to start redoing a bunch of sewing in here. And then we'll make some change length adjustments on this one to get it to work with these. So first things first, let's do, so that goes there, and that comes up from here to here, and then this goes here, and that's going to come from here to here. Then over here, that's going to sew into there. And then here gets sewn into there. And that's 33.1. That works out. So I need whatever this is plus 33.1 to equal that. I should put a split in here at 33.1 just to give me a marker point. Also will make it easier to change the lengths later. And now we're just going to measure you. Did I put a curve point on you? Damn you. 357.3. 357. And you're snapping to something. I hate it when that happens. 357.3. And then we'll just make sure that this says 357.3. Change length 357.3. I want the arrow to go the other way. So we say end on that, say okay. And then we'll set this to be the same. 357.3. Okie dokie. Tweak the sewing just a little bit because it's a little off, but ideally that should even it out. I think that's going to work for my Yep, there we go. Oh yeah, I need to add a little zone right in here. I need to come up here 33.1 and run a line across the back. I marked it already. What, dude? Come on. So I just need to do a zone through there. And that lines up with that. And then later on, I'm going to put fur on this. That's the reason for that one. You know what? I'm going to cut and sew that. And then we're just going to add a little cuff up here. Offset as an internal line. And let's say 25. And I'm going to put a cut and sew on those. And I think I'm good to go for what I'm going to do in here. My toes keep rolling in like that. It's like they want to. I think what happens is I think they want to crawl underneath the nails because of the way the normals on the toenails are. I think that might be what it happens there. All right, this is probably as good as I'm going to get with this in Marvelous Designer. So we're going to take it over in the blender and shape it up a bit more. So let's grab all of that. Let's do a file, export OBJ selected, Whimsy boots. What time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock. I've only been at this for an hour. I'm going to save that. This is going to spit up. No, now it says thin and welded. It's back to normal now. It's messing with my mind. And I'm going to save this project. Save as project. Whimsy boots. There we go. Let's pop back over to here. Have I saved you yet? I have not. File. Save as. Whimsy boots. I'm calling this Winter Whimsy. It's a fuzzy sweater with a skirt that's going to have a couple of pleats in the front, couple of pleats in the back, and then we're going to have these fuzzy boots that go with it. Boop. Okay, let's hide these guys. Let's bring in the boots. All right, let's take a look at how this is looking. I think I gotta flip the normals, and we're gonna fix this toe up a bit with some sculpting. Let's take a look at. Oh, here, let's do this thing. Face orientation. So, okay, that red. I'm going to pop in a Marvelous Designer and we're going to flip that. I thought I did that. I'm going to do flip normal on that. I'm going to let that relax just a little bit. And we're just going to re-export this. And we're going to pop back over into here, get rid of that, and re-import it. I still need to do some sculpting on that. This angle's a little nicer though. Let's tab in. Oh no, we forgot to turn it into quads. All right, we are turning it into quads. We are exporting again. I love the way Blender remembers the name of the last thing I exported or imported. So all I have to do in here is just hit import. It already is going, hey, you want this last thing you want? Yeah, dude. There we go. All right, now let's tab in. You're still triangulated. What the farfignugan? Oh, I didn't. Doy. It helps if you actually hit the export button. That's better. I'm going to rebuild this because I want these to be straighter across so I can kind of, I'm going to try to make a somewhat of a ridge tread out of that. So, you know what? I'm just going to delete those out. Is that what I wanted to do? Kind of. You know, maybe we just dissolve edges again. I got too many selected. Let's try this in baby steps. Yeah, baby. That's looking okay. No. Actually, I don't want to. I went too far on that. Okay, these I'm going to get. I'm going to get gnarly with. Maybe I can just dissolve all these out. It's going to make for a real ugly shape. I'm going to try to fix that. Maybe we dissolve those as well. And then I'm just going to maybe, we'll just add some cuts through here. Right. We'll fix the normals later. What I want to do is I want to kind of use these lines to help build out the tread. BRB coffee, gotta get up at 3 a.m. Oh no. Oh, the aurora's up at 3 in the morning? Dang. I'm not getting up in time for that. Yeah, get your coffee though, then, Rod. If the aurora would just happen at a convenient time, what the hell, Aurora? All right, that's looking good. I'm going to come along through here. We're going to start doing some. That didn't go right. That went the wrong way. Let's try it. Why do you keep bending around on me? Loop tools. Relax that. Can I just come through there? Nope, you went down and around. Relax that. Relax that. That did not relax. Let's try that again. That's a little better. Yeah, what's up with that having to get up at 3 in the morning to watch the aurora? That ain't right. Can I just select through here like this? And can I hide you? And then can I sculpt on this without breaking? Okay, I still hear Marvelous Designer in the background. All right, let's turn that off. Sometimes when Marvelous Designer gets going, it just keeps working the fan. All right, let's try. I'm trying to view these mat cap things. Is that in here? There they are, mat caps. Uh, they can kind of help make it easier to see what you're doing when you're sculpting. I think I want to make that maybe a little stronger. So I need to tweak my smoothing strength a little bit. What do you? Oh, I still have smoothing on. Dang it! Dang it! There we go. Too strong. I think. There's a way to mask. Also, my normals are a little janky. I'm gonna mask the soul. I'm gonna try to do that. And I don't remember how to mask. I almost never use masks when sculpting. So let's assign a material to the soul. Let's do that. So let's Alt H and go to 3. Let's come over here and you're gonna be boot and that, and then we're gonna do new. This is gonna be boot soul. And we'll assign that. And mask sculpting from selection. There we go. Sculpting mask made from selected surfaces. Da, 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 da. Face sets, but unfortunately there is no direct selection of mask from edit selection. Um, Sculpt mask. I'm trying that. Blender makes sculpting mask, sculpting mask brush.
I will show you how to use the mask brush in Blender's sculpting mode, and I'll show you some. I'm going to turn the subdivisions up on the sculpt object, then you can press the T key and that'll open up this side panel here, and then the mask brush is going to be right down here. Now you can find all of the settings for the brush right up here.
That's where it used to. Where are you? Mask by color. Can we do that? Can I assign it a color? Yeah, baby. Let's do that. There, and then I think I got a mask, right? Yeah, except nothing's happening. Am I in sculpt mode? I don't know, I'll go back to layout and see if then I can do sculpt mode, and am I masked? Nothing is happening because I have probably masked everything. Yeah, okay. Mask by color. Created mask based on active color attribute. I don't have a color attribute there. And that whole thing. Color filter, cloth filter. What did he? Yeah, his tools. He's got. This is old, isn't it? 2 years ago. That's my problem. That is totally archaic at this point. Blender 4.5. That was the video I was just looking at, wasn't it?
And you can paint, and you can see it's gonna get.
Yeah, and that's totally not Blender 4.5. You stinking goddamn garbage AI. There we go. Maybe it's in here somewhere.
You ever seen a dinosaur in the wild?
It's fun, right?
Peacock brings the thrill of dinosaurs.
In this video, I'm gonna show you the apps. Whatever a Catmull Clark. I'm going to up. Now, once we are here, now you'll notice
2 minutes into the video, and he's just getting to the sculpting.
this right side is obviously the same, but you'll notice out like this, like that, or subtract. Basically, move here on the left. But now, since the update, we now have it at the bottom, and I feel like at the bottom is a description. You press description 43. Just hover over it. You get the effect. Now, remember, we didn't have Topo, then enable it. Editing the not adding vertices topology to click this. We've gotten that, then we can dynamic topology. Remember, when absolute basement down below, it says that is set here.
You know, he didn't say anything about masking. Not a thing. Oh, so let me see, what do we got here? Draw face set, mask. Okay, so I've got that off. It's masking the points, and there's only points on the edge of that. All right, now I think I can kind of go to town without worrying about messing up that. So, look, back to brush, back to slowly working this back out. I don't know, is that what I want? Hey, Rod, I'm gonna try to do a face morph of Stevie Nicks later tonight. Sometimes and sometimes. Yeah, I have never been able to do likenesses. And that's the reason why there's no Jenny Agarter morphs in my poser directories. Nobody knows who she is, and I can't make a good one. Agarter, is that it? I don't know. That might be janky enough. All right, let's pop into here. Let's fix all of the 3A. Let's tweak the normals. You've nailed them a few times, but it's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an eye for getting stuff moved into the right shape to make a decent character morph. At least, well, not a likeness. Ooh. Normals. Reset vectors. Did that do the trick? That kind of did the trick. All right, we're going to add some extra geometry into here. I'm going to try to figure out where my seams lined up and try to get those. UV editing. What do we got? What do we got? Control L. Why have I got a weird? What did you do there, Marvy? Marvy designer. Look at those strange. I'm going to add an extra row through. And what is that? That is a five-sided poly if I've ever seen one. I can. Did I accidentally delete something? I may have accidentally gone a little overboard and deleted something out. I'm going to do a split. Let's escape that. Let's come back over to layout. Let's tab into edit mode and let's fix that. That explains why I have some weird unevenness in here. And then we're just going to undo that, undo that, use the Kniffy tool. I want to do that right there. I'm convinced this stuff is actually alive and it likes to F with us. Totally. All right, there, I'm happy with that. I should probably pop into sculpt mode and touch that up a little bit. Just smooth that out. Maybe pull that up a bit. And then we'll pop back over to edit mode. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some, I need to add some extra cuts and things into this. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get the old Kniffy tool and run that just like that. And run it back like so. And I'm going to add some, you know what? I'm going to dissolve those out. Nope, I didn't want to dissolve those out. I want to dissolve these out. And I want to kind of do the same thing with these. And then can I just select that edge? Eventually. Then we can just do an inset. Oh, wait, my selection went away. There we go. Why did my... Oh, I need to select faces like this. Doy. And then I can do, I don't want to inset all. I want to do an inset, not individuals. I want to do an inset kind of like that. So we'll try this again. Actually, I don't want to do that too much because I want to, actually, I want to do the, I don't want to change these lines. You know what? Let's do this. There's my soul. I sold it to rock and roll. I'm going to do that again. And then I think... Let's see how this goes. I'm kind of going to grab every other one, and I'm going to kind of use this to make ridges. And I hope this comes out okay looking. And then we're just going to pull that up like that. I think that's cool. I think that's cool. And then can I do that? Assign that to the soul material. You know what? I think I'm going to I'm going to flatten that out a little bit on the z-axis. That's the wrong z-axis. My orientation's wrong here. There. I'm going to flatten that out on the y-axis like so. And then maybe bring you down a bit. And do I have a... No, I don't have that here. I'm going to smooth this out from here to here. I'm going to try to maybe do the same thing. I went the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way again. And that is the wrong button. There we go. So, I'm going to kind of do that. And then I'm going to kind of level that out a little bit. And over here, we got a little wonky. Maybe I can just relax. My looping keeps running under the foot sometimes. That was, oh, Jesus Christ. What you can't see can't hurt you. Maybe like that. Maybe pull you out a little bit. And if we put a subdivision on here, and if I do that, maybe I can put some nice little creasing on these so this edge gets sharp. So let's try generate subdivision. I'm going to crease up some stuff on the toes. This, I think I want to pull out a little bit. Instead of looping around, it looped under. And now it's, what is that blue arrow? That blue is my Z, scale Z. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. That looks appropriately wonky. I'm going to crease that. I should probably touch up the bulge on the side there. Oh, you're supposed to be part of the whatchamacallit. Oops. Okay, now I'm just gonna, there's a way. I need to not see what I'm doing for just a moment. Nope. Nope. There we go. Now I'm in the groove. I'm going to crease this, but not all the way. That last one I didn't need. So I can super sharp crease it, but we're going to take that just a little past. And now when I bring this, it's probably good. Now that's bulging over a little bit. I think I'm going to try to push that back with some sculpting. Or We're smoothing that out. I think that's doing the trick. And how are you looking over here? Can I do a little smoothing over here? And I see a little bit of the foot coming through, so we're going to fix that up. I'm just going to maybe pull you out a little bit. All right, I'm going to start marking some seams and setting up some materials. So we'll have like toe cap. I have a sole already. We have heel and then a cuff. So we'll do that over here in UV mode. Control G. And let's do this thing where we're going to do seams from islands. And I know there's a... So I went all the trouble to mark a cuff in here, and it seems to kind of petered out. Is that it through there? No. Maybe I'll just mark it through there. Yeah, I think I'll mark a seam there. Why am I not seeing my other seams? You know what? I probably had to select everything and then seams from islands. There we go. There's those seams that I set up before. We'll re-UV map this. I need to add some thickness to this, and I think actually this is a pretty simple boot. Most of the detailing. I need to actually add a seam through here, and we're going to put a material zone in here called fur. I think I'm going to start that right up above, right about here. So, let's come into here. Let's add boot cuff. Boot cuff. Let's add boot fur. Yo, Elena Phenomena. Well, thank you for the deep lurk. I appreciate that. Good to see you. I haven't caught one of your co-working streams recently. Everybody, check out our good friend. And someday I got to remember to make a command for you. Because I don't think I have one. Because I'm a slug. Oh, no, wait. I do have a command. No, that was just a shout out. No. I don't have a command. I need a command. You had to cancel the last one. I'm sorry. I hope everything's going well enough. If you aren't following, give a follow. One of my favorite people on Twitch. Boot fur. I need a boot fur material. I'm making kind of a weird winter outfit. These are going to be kind of like ugly boots with fur. I've got a furry sweater. And I'm going to have a skirt. My fur's not on right now. Do I have fur? I kind of have fur. It's going to look something like... Here, let's do this. Let's see how the fur is looking. And anyhow, and then I'm going to put fur on the boots. I'm working on the boots tonight. And my computer's thinking about running. There we go. There's our furry. This is loosely based on a sweater from the Wednesday season 2. In the episode where Enid and Wednesday switch bodies. I'm extra unwell this week. I'm sorry. But if I accept it and really rust, Yeah. It's hard not to push yourself though when you feel you got things to do. So fuzzy. Yeah, that's what I was going for. We'll stop that. All right. So I'm making a pair of boots that's going to go with this. It's a sweater, it's a skirt, and it's going to be big fuzzy boots. So that's what these are, and I'm going to put fur in here. It's hard. You love to do and need to learn to love to be. I yeah, I get that. Okay. So I'm in the middle of assigning materials. Boot fuzz. I'm going to say boot fuzz, not butt fuzz. Butt fuzz is wrong, but boot fuzz. There we go. Boot fuzz. Um. Okay. Let's uh. Let's assign the cuffs. Let's give that a color so we can see it. So then I'm gonna hide the hide that, and let's see how this goes. If I'm lucky, this will be nice and even all the way around. I'm lucky, so I'm gonna sign that. Give that a color we can spot. Let's give boot a color we can spot. And I'm kind of thinking that might actually just be, oh no, I have to add a little bit of thickness on the rim here. We're going to do that. And then I need to do the UV maps. We have to mirror the boots. I have 28 minutes. We are in good shape. No problemo. There we go. We've just added a little bit of thickness. I'm going to bevel that just a bit. So we're going to just break that edge. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do evil. I always regret it when I do this. Shift D, scale that a little bit, kind of like that. Let's flip those normals. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to this, and this is basically just a fake interior. I missed. So we fill that in like so, and then I'm just going to run that around. There we go. Let's mark a seam there. Let's do that. Let's assign you a material, boot interior. And assign, give it a color. Now when we come over here and look at that, I think it's good. Do I have a seam on the inside of that? I don't. I'm going to run a seam through here. I'm going to mark a seam right there and right there. I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. I'm going to hide the cuff. Did I not select the cuff? And I can hide the cuff. Oh, I do seem to have a seam marked in there. I have a seam marked in here, though. I don't need that. We'll clear that. I think that's going to work for my uglyish boot. I'm thinking the design should have been a little bit different. Oh well. UV editing. Alt H, get everything in here. Select all of this. Are you? Can I just? Is that working? That's kind of working. Oh, I haven't marked the seams on the soles. Gonna do that. I think I got a seam that's running through here. Do I see anything? Yeah, I obviously need to put a seam there. And another one over here. That's better. All right, we're going to put this on half a map. I wonder if I should drop another line. I'm going to leave that, I think. I got to break out the pack master. We're going to set up a custom target box. So I want to UV map this into half, and then when we flip the boot, we can flip the UVs to the other side for the other side of the boots. Because we're going to use a mirror to make the other half of the boots. I need to edit a target box. We have to just take that and put it over the halfway point, and then we just set pack, and we put that into half. And then we come over here, we do this, and we come over here and say mirror. And then in mirror, I'm going to come down here and tell it to mirror the UVs. And I think I'm going to call those the boots. Do I want to pull those forward? I may rework these to be a little clunkier. They're awful clunky now, though. I don't know. Let's try this. Let's export it out. Activate export. Whimsy boots G9. Let's do that. Export that. Come over here. I'm going to turn off for a bit. And then we'll just bring the boots in. Import the boots we just made. Should be good. And then let's rig the boots to Genesis 9. Boots. Do I have a footwear template? I think I do. Footwear template. There we go. I got 15 minutes. Let's get the boots over into Substance Painter. It's still thinking about it. I'm going to try to get a suede texture thrown on here real quick. Just a starter. And then maybe we could throw some fur on here as well. Let me hide my plane. Let's come over here. Add my base shader. that didn't seem, because I have the sweater selected. Stippy fool. Let's select the boots and let's try that. There we go. That's what I wanted it to do. Oh no, I've got too many O's in that material name. Boot underscore, and we don't need that. There we go. That's better. Back into here. Edit geometry. Convert to sub D. Probably okay. All right, let's save you. That's a save a picture. Let's save you over here as a boot for G9. Product is the Winter Whimsy footwear. Rest of that's probably okay. Let it do its magic. All right, let's give some colors to this. I'll just use my generic shaders. Is good. All right, export you out. Let's turn the resolution back down though. And let's double check my my UVs. I've only got one thing selected. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm happy with that. That goes out again. I need, there it is. I have a substance folder right here. So I'm just going to save that as boots. I have to make a quick detour back into Blender with this. So import boots, shade, smooth, export, boots, export boots again. That's an import. That's an export, this time with no materials. And we'll say no materials on that. Is good. All right, we pop back over. Did I launch Substance? I did. Oh, Substance has been open. Save. File. New. Select. Boots, no materials. Okie dokie. File. Save as. Winter Whimsy Boots. Okay, mode, bake mesh maps, bake selected. I probably should put a different color on here. I'll figure it out. And now we're impatiently waiting. There we go. Off, 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 on. That's supposed to stay off. That. Okay, so we're going to load in the ones with the colors. We're going to make those cages really small. Increase the output size. Bake that. All right, come in the paint. Suede. I want suede. Natural leather suede. So I'm going to use that. We're going to tile that up a whole bunch. It looks really weird in here. I think it'll look a lot better. I'm going to add some detailing in here, but I'm not going to do that tonight. And then I need like a rubber, dark, dirty rubber floor. I don't know. That might do the trick for what I want to do for the soles. And you are just totally all over chat, and I can't see what I'm. What am I doing? I'm going to do normal. Switch you to normal. Height. Set that to normal. That should be a good start. Control Shift E. This is just a rudimentary beginning texture. I want to just throw it on there real quick before we call it a night. I'm going to try to throw fur on there too before we call it a night. Open directory, grab all of these, Control X. Let's go. Projects, dresses, Whimsy, runtime, textures. You belong in here. New folder. Do I not have anything in here yet? Oh, those are the fuzz maps. That's why they're all the way over there. Winter Whimsy Boots. Let's rename you. And we'll paste that there. We'll pop back over to Daz. Okay, I'm going to reset these back to white. And then we'll just drag and drop these in. Color. It's my metallicity black. My metallicity is black. We don't need that. You could just dial that to 0. Roughness. Glossy roughness. Normal map. And a bump map. Because I'm redundant that way. All right, that's a start. Now let me see if I can just throw a quickie fur on here. Is it create new strand-based hair? It's going to be something like WW Whimsy boots fuzz G9. All right, and I'll accept that. And I only want it on the boot fuzz. And we're just going to fill that in. And I'm going to make that a little shorter. I'm going to come over here to clumping and dial that, tweak. I want to add frizz. I'm not seeing anything, which has got me a wee bit alarmed, not going to lie. I'm going to make my radius bigger. I'm going to take my strength down. This is the styling. So I'm basically just going to kind of loosely drag these down. And let's see if this worked. I got something. I didn't change the colors on them though. Let's see if we can do that. In the Surface tab, right here, do I have? There they are. You know what? I'm just gonna kind of. I'm gonna leave them like that right now. Let's see how this is looking, and then we'll call it a night. It's fuzzy. It's too thin. I have to thicken it up. I forgot to do the thickening up part. I'm going to cancel that. We're going to re-edit that to be a little chunkier. Is it in distribute? I think it's in distribute. I did change the length. I'm going to change that to 50. Also, I'm going to make them thicker, the furs thicker, and I will check that out. Actually, there's a change length thing too. Let's pop back into here. Is it under tweak? Random length? Maybe we'll do that. All right, let's see how this is looking. And now I'm gonna look. Well, let's look for somebody to raid. We're about ready to call it a night. It is Thursday. I'm looking for Twitch. I'm looking for my Twitch. And I can see who I'm following, who's on, and who we might look at raiding. That needs a little. Well, there it goes. Now I'm starting to see it a little bit. I think I need a little more randomness or something around the tops. It's looking a little too clean. I have to play with that. I have to take a look at what I used for these settings here and try to. I wish there was and I'm not seeing it, a way I could just like copy those settings and paste it to this. That would be ideal. But in the meantime, um, some progress. I think I need to crank up the frizz a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit longer too. But anyhow, thank you all for being here. Alana, it's good to see you. Rob, I hope everything goes well tomorrow. I hope you get a good view of the aurora. Good luck with that, man. I saw Art was in the house. We're missing our good friend C.S. Bond. I think Fallen Leaves and Esrom Music had popped in as well. Cool cats. I see my friend Permafried Wookie is playing a game. I'm going to see if any of the art friends are on. Irumakin is doing puzzles. We'll probably just go over and hang out with Irumakin. Actually, Kuasai Live is doing a co-working stream. Maybe we'll go over and say hi to Kuasai. See if I can raid him. He's currently away from the desk. Evil rat bastard. We'll go over and say hi to Kuasai. I don't know if anybody else is in here, but he's a marvelous music streamer, and he's recently been trying to dip his toes in the world of co-streaming. So I think I'll just raid him and say hi. If you care to join the raid, feel free to do so. The first settings on that need some work, but we're getting there. The boots are looking okay. I'm gonna have to add some seams to those to pop them out a little bit. It's kind of what they're supposed to look like, right? Yeah. I like that. Not crazy about that. So it's a matter of trying to figure out what I did here and make sure that I do it down here. That's all. We're optimistic that we can pull this off. Not going to try the Aurora tonight. It was only for a couple nights due to the sun being. Oh, okay. I saw that. I kept looking at those Aurora maps and it didn't look like it quite got down to New York. Although I heard in some places it got as far south as Georgia or Florida or Texas even. So you should have been able to see it a few days back, but I guess you weren't outside. Oh. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. If you're on YouTube, thank you. Like and subscribe. That's often. If you're on Twitch and you want to stick around for the raid, feel free to copy the appropriate raid call. We've got that one there. And we've got this one here. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna raid Kuya. He's because he stepped away. Let's see if we can find somebody else. Permafried Wilkie's on. You know what? I'm just gonna take us over to Urumakin. He's doing words on stream. He's just a cool guy to hang out with. So we're gonna do that instead. And say hi to all the friends over there. So if you can join the raid, that's awesome. There are the raid calls. Here is the raid thing. If you care to join the Discord, feel free to join there. And thank you all for being here. I will be back Saturday. More stuff like this at 1 o'clock. And then 8 p.m. is our Saturday night social. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. So anyhow, yeah, let's copy the raid call. Let's go say hi to Urumakin. And where's my Twitch? And hasta la vista, baby.